You've probably heard of both Claude and Chat GPT, but what exactly makes them different? Let's break it down. You hear me talk about this all the time. Oh, Chat, oh, Claude, and all the things. But in this video, I'm going to explain the difference between the two, and that's just so you can kind of understand which one might be the best one for you. Now remember, these are subjective. How you use things is subjective. In AI, it's all about learning how you will use these tools more effectively. I, for instance, do not like voice assistants, but that does not mean that voice assistants won't be good for you. In fact, the more I'm seeing people using them, the more I'm kind of like, maybe I should be using voice assistants. So remember, how you adopt these practices and how you adapt them to your uses and to your own lifestyle is going to be the best way for you to integrate AI in your life. Don't do something simply because someone else is doing it. It might not fit the way you work or the way that your ethics actually are defined for yourself. Okay, let's talk a little bit about ChatGPT first. What is it? Well, ChatGPT was developed by OpenAI. ChatGPT is a large language model that I'm also going to refer to as an LLM that can actually generate human-like text based on prompts. And as it continues to evolve, I want you to know that right now, AI is the worst it's going to be. Well, actually, when it first started, it was the worst it was ever going to be. Right now, it won't be worse than it is right now. And in the next 20 minutes, it continues to learn. Think of it as like a child, okay? A child who is learning and being fed information all the time, how it develops, how it's treated. These are literally what AI is and how it can help you, okay? And it's text-based because it's a language model. Now, if it was like image-based, it would be completely different than what it is that we're talking about. There are image-based options like you'll hear Midjourney, Sora, those types of options out there. But I want you to remember that the first thing you have to understand is language in any of these, because if you understand language, then you can understand how to tell these AIs to do what it is you want them to do. Now, if you can't speak correctly or you have a hard time putting your thoughts into words, that should be the very first place that you start. I need you to help me figure out how to prompt what I'm talking about here so I can get the best results. And I have videos and tutorials on exactly how to do that, and it's super helpful, especially if you understand how to get from one place to the next, okay? So let's just keep talking about what ChatGPT is. ChatGPT is trained on a variety of topics, and it excels literally in generating coherent text, answering questions, writing stories, etc., especially based on what you tell it to do. So I was doing this essay for a talk that I was going to give, and it was really interesting because when I put the information in there, I was talking about some biochemistry and some like chemical equations and some interactions that I needed to explain to this class. And it was really funny because when I was having the initial conversation with Chat, I was talking with that vernacular, right? We were talking along those lines of, hey, this and the organelles and blah, blah, blah. And then I said, I need you to create a worksheet that explains these. And it kind of sucked. Like, it was not user-friendly. So I was like, oh, sorry. I need you to come at this from the perspective of a fifth grader, and we're going to explain biochemistry to a fifth grader. And so I had to identify like which level. And so just to be clear, fifth graders are not dumb at all. What I was doing was identifying the reading level I needed it to be at, as well as where most people leave off. So when you say, I need you to do this from a fifth grade level, you're making it very easy to read, very easy to understand, and it usually uses analogies that are easy to comprehend, that most people actually interact with on a day-to-day basis. So instead of it being like super big words and stuff, and then using these calculations and things that just wouldn't make sense, what it did was it gave this really great analogy about this kid on a bike, and it was talking about how this user used this bike and how it was using all of these parts and stuff to make the thing move forward. What a great analogy that anybody can use. Or anybody can understand. Like, that is so terrific. So that's what I had to do, is I had to kind of tell it how to do what it was that I needed it to do. It is also like when you're writing stories or you're going in, like I've talked in the past, if you've seen some of my other videos, I talk about how to use it for like meal prepping or meal planning or something like that. Hey, Chat, this is what I have in the fridge. What are we having tonight for dinner? If you tell it very explicitly, I'm not a good cook. I can barely boil water, or I'm a really good cook, but I don't like following recipes. Can you just kind of give me an idea of what to make and what to throw in, and I don't need amounts? That is where you're going to get, that is where your output from your AI, especially from ChatGPT, is where it's going to be extremely useful to you and more appropriate for you versus what someone else might get, okay? Because you need to tell it what you need it to do for you. If you've gone into a doctor before and you're like, yeah, I'm having these symptoms, and the doc's like, yeah, you're this person, you're female, you're this tall, you weigh this much, you have this color skin, you have this whatever, this is your medication that I'm going to give you. They're not really listening to your symptoms. Then I think that's when it's just like cookie cutter, right? But if you go into the doctor and they're asking you all these questions, it's so that they can tailor it to you. That's exactly what you have to do with your AI model. And Chat is really good at learning you and listening to things like previous conversations and stuff that you've had with it, so it can actually learn and grow with that, okay? Another thing that is really great about ChatGPT is I use it a lot for content creation, brainstorming, general questions. I even have a therapist with it, like a therapy thread where it's just me and it, and we're like doing our thing and talking. And it's actually helped me have a lot of my own aha moments, which we all need our own aha moments, right? Okay, so let's talk for a moment about Claude. Claude is the other one. Claude is like my girlfriend version of Chat. So Chat's more to the point, more encouraging, but let's get this crap done. And Claude's more like, hey, how's it going? And just kind of chilling into it, but a lot more word usage. You can get bigger outputs from Claude, and it doesn't feel very redundant, but it's a little bit harder to connect with. Claude is more of a project-based version versus more of a friend with Chat, okay? Claude is an AI model that is developed by Anthropic, and you'll get, like when you log in and stuff, you'll get an email from Anthropic, not Claude, when you're getting your verification code. So do keep that in mind. Anthropic is a company that's focused on creating more ethical AI. So it's very cautious about learning from other text sources and stuff and books and stuff. They're very, very cautious about that. And I do like that. Similar to ChatGPT though, Claude generates text and answers questions, but with a stronger focus on safety and ethical considerations. In Claude, it's called NSFW. It's not safe for work. It's really difficult for to get Claude to do violence or sexually based content, which is good, right? Especially if you're a mom and you're trying to not have your kid get access to that kind of stuff. Chat did just open up to where NSFW isn't really something that they're monitoring anymore or censoring. So something to keep in mind as you're trying to decide on which model you want to use. Claude is designed with alignment to ensure it doesn't produce harmful content, making it a bit more cautious in its responses, but I do like the way that it speaks and the way that it actually forms its sentences. It is more on a literary level, it's more of a purple prose, and it can be very calming to read it because sometimes it just feels like you're just being shunted through. And with Claude, you don't feel that way. So the training and development inside of this, the differences in training the processes of Claude and ChatGPT are really interesting. He was trained using a massive data set from a variety of sources. I'm sure you've heard all of the complaints and stuff, including books, websites, and other text-based data. Not to mention, Chat is constantly learning with other things that are constantly showing up on the internet. You can actually use it to search the internet for information and do real-time knowledge. Claude is trained with a focus on alignment and ethical considerations with an emphasis on ensuring it generates safe and responsible content. I love that about Claude. Now let's say you're a writer and an author and you're like, I need help with a sex scene or a violent scene. You can use apps inside of a program like Pseudo-Write, and that actually helps you. There's other options as well that can help you with your AI content as you're trying to build things up, right? This is a thing that people do, okay? ChatGPT's broad training allows for wide-ranging knowledge, while Claude's training makes it more sensitive to potentially harmful language. Again, if you're trying to just kind of get to know your LLMs and figure out which one you like, if you're a family with small children or younger children who you don't want to be exposed to NSFW, you might consider starting with Claude and moving into Chat at a later time. You can also train Chat though to be more cognizant of those items. If it was me, again, we're church bound, we like church, we like keeping that kind of mentality in there. I would actually try to make sure and train my Chat as well as make sure Claude's an option so that whoever in your house uses it, they're actually getting exposure to the good things as well as understanding how to limit and keep those boundaries in place, right? That's important. We need to understand our boundaries and the ethical side of how to use these things. Focuses and use cases is really important for each model. Let's talk about the focus for ChatGPT. Chat focuses more on versatility and general knowledge, making it great for a variety of tasks such as answering questions, generating creative content, and more. And remember, you can train these suckers. So train Chat. If you're like, I want Chat to know everything possible about meal planning, then you get in there and you train it and you ask it to go find the things. Like you go redo the research and ask it to train off of the Reddit accounts or the Reddit conversations that are about it, right? Like there's so many things that you can do with that. Claude, however, focuses on safety and responsible AI use, making it ideal again for applications that prioritize ethical considerations like compliance-heavy industries, as well as children and their exposure and trying to get like how to do stories and stuff. So I have an AI basics guide. It's like a master guide. And then I have like these kits and stuff for youth. For one of them, I have an AI activity book for kids just to kind of start with. And it's so fun. There's like 25 activities in there. Like for instance, teaching them how to tell a story with Chat or with Claude. And Claude would be more appropriate for this instance for children because it also does the images that you want. It also helps with PDFs. They could print them off. So Claude would be a good instance in this regard for your kids to be practicing inside of those kits. The links are down below so you can kind of figure out, if it is something that you're even interested in trying. But it is fun to do. Okay, so ChatGPT, you could use it for like creative writing, research, even casual conversations. Like I said, I use it for therapy, business consultation, that type of stuff. Claude is more ideal for applications regarding high safety standards such as healthcare or customer service. I also am a business manager, marketing expert. And so a lot of the things that I'll do is because I'll have people like come to me and they're like, oh, this isn't working because of this. And I'm like, actually, I know it's not working because you don't understand who your audience is or you don't understand who your marketing target is. And they argue with me and I'm like, okay, let's take this to Claude and let's have a discussion with Claude about this I've trained Claude. Claude knows. I've trained it on some of the best marketing expert advice out there. And so I know what I'm saying, but sometimes it just gives a little bit more of a boost and like bona fide, if you will, the bona fides, if you will, for, hey, this is what I do kind of know what I'm talking about, but someone's going to back me up on this, right? AI is going to back me up, okay? Another one is user experience. Man, I cannot tell you the difference between the two. Like if you see my other videos, you can kind of see, but they're very similar in that you have your input, you have your output, and then you have your places where you can collect your projects or your conversations. Like it's pretty easy, right? Chat is known for its smooth interface and ability to quickly generate responses. It's highly customizable and can be used for a variety of tasks, but I do want to put in a caveat here. Chat glitches. In fact, today I've been working on videos for you guys and Chat has been glitching up and down. I swear we're in Mercury retrograde for like a year this year, but Chat is having some real issues and it's just glitching left and right. That's okay. It's used by a lot of people, but it's just something to keep in mind. It is a program. While it might not need to sleep or eat, it does have glitches, and that's what happens sometimes when you rely on computers, right? Okay, Claude emphasizes a more controlled, again, an ethical interaction. I'm going to continue to say that, making users feel safer when using it for sensitive topics. But again, it crashes. I'm literally in the middle of it not working. It's like, Claude will be back sometime. I'm like, what? Are Claude and Chat having dinner right now? Like, are they out for breakfast? Why wasn't I invited? I got to get stuff done today, y'all. So that is where I get really hesitant about people relying solely on AI programs because I can still go and do the things that I need to do with or without the programs. They do make my life easier. They do make things easier for me to plan and to outline and to organize things, but I can do it without it. But there are some businesses that rely solely on AI. And I'm like, what happens when they all glitch on you? Like right now, what do you do? Something to think about. So ChatGPT is great for general tasks or anything that you train it to do, while Claude is better suited for those who need more controlled and ethical AI behavior. Claude would be more appropriate for you to have in like a healthcare office, for instance. You can ask Claude some questions, and the AI program will actually respect those. And you can actually say, we need to stay within HIPAA privacy here, and it will respect those regulations and those boundaries. Okay. Another one is again accessibility and availability. ChatGPT is available through OpenAI's platform, and it's integrated into various apps and tools. I love the fact that OpenAI has allowed it to be used on multiple platforms. So I can actually plug it with the API options on it, and plug it into my WordPress site, plug it into my business, use my chat AI agents all across the board. So OpenAI is it used to be really open source, and now they make it capable for that. You still have to pay for it, but you're still capable to be able to go across multiple sites. Claude is available only through Anthropic's platform. You can still integrate it into some business stores as long as they prioritize AI safety, okay? So for instance, ChatGPT is accessible for general users on OpenAI's website or via API, like I said before, and Claude is more likely to be used in industries that need strict content moderation, also to have that kind of my stuff's not being used, right? You can't say in Claude, you can't say, I want you to write like this author, or I want you to write like this blog post. But in chat, you can say, I'm going to have you write similar to the voice of, and it doesn't throw a fit. Claude throws a fit. So I just want to make sure that you understand that ChatGPT is a little bit more versatile with a broad knowledge base for general tasks, and it's a little bit easier to train. However, Claude is really designed with safety and ethical considerations in place, and it's ideal for compliance-heavy industries. However, I also want to really clarify, they both learn very well, and Claude has a higher output range, which can be great. And if you train it on your own writing, it actually makes a lot of your jobs easier, like writing emails and writing maybe a story for your kids, or writing up and translating something for a friend. It's great for taking an email and saying, hey, can you make this look nicer? Both of them are great at that. So I just want to encourage you to go and check out either one. Based on your needs, choose which one's going to be best for you. Get to know them, see which one feels better for you. I, again, feel like chat's a little bit more personable, like it's more personal in the fact that you can really do some TMI information in there and be like, hey, this is what I need some help with this. Where Claude's more of a, I know that you just asked me some questions about your back problems, but would you like me to put that into a PDF? So there's things that you can ask it and things that you probably just move over to the other one for. Again, which AI model are you interested in trying? Which AI model are you trying? And what do you like about the differences in each of them? Or do you even notice that there's any differences? All right, guys, don't forget to hit like and subscribe. And I can't wait to hear what you think about this. And I can't wait to hear how you are using AI in your life.